friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. In today's video, I'm doing another ranking my last 10 palettes video. I love this series. It's probably one of my favorite kinds of videos I do, and you guys seem to always really enjoy it as well, so I'm happy to continue the trend. I did initially get this video idea from my friend Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner 5,000 years ago. I will of course have her channel linked down below. At this point, I've already done at least one look, if not multiple looks with all of these palettes. I'll try to mention where you can find each tutorial as I go through it. But yeah, I'm very excited. There are a couple things that I don't love in this round, but there are a couple things that I love a lot. Like my top two, I almost can't even pick a favorite. They're basically tied. I did rank them, but they're basically tied. There's a lot of good ones in this mix. And also, I always inevitably get someone that says like, oh, you forgot this palette, what about that palette? It was most definitely in the one before this. So you can go check out my previous ones if you think I am missing one, because I promise you, I write everything down as I am getting them and I rank them as I use them so that I can keep track. So if you think I'm skipping one, I promise you I'm not. Before we hop into it though, I did want to let you know that I did of course film this look. I filmed every look you see on camera. It should already be up on my Instagram and TikTok by the time this video goes up. And let me just give you my jewelry details. These earrings are from Spooky Doodle Club on Etsy. They're so cute. It's a little sun and moon. And then I think this choker is from Shop Sun & Co. You can use my affiliate code BATTYBEAN for 10% off. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and rank my last 10 palettes. All right, ranked number 10. This is definitely the floppiest of all of the palettes today. This is the Urban Decay Eternals palette. This is for the Eternals movie. Now, it's not a horrible palette in terms of quality. I do kind of hate the packaging though. Like, it's this giant pop-up. It's so bulky, and then you have to peel the other layer up. It's just not my vibe. But it's not a horrible palette in terms of quality. It's definitely nothing revolutionary. It's just, it's so tame. It's so safe. It's nothing out of the ordinary. The million tones of beigey brown in here are very boring. The bottom are really pretty. They're not like revolutionary, but they're cute. This palette essentially could have been condensed a lot more and given you a similar vibe. It's just kind of boring, you know? It's not awful, but it's just nothing special. With this palette, I did a get ready with me with this about a month ago. So if you want to see this and just the whole Eternals collection in action, you can go check that out. Moving on to number 9, this is my MOTD Cosmetics Venice Simplon Express palette. This is a palette they did in collaboration with Ipsy. This is essentially just a 9-pan condensed version of their Orient Express palette. This is very cute. I did an Instagram video with it. It's a very basic Instagram video though. I did a very simple look just because I played with a lot of these colors in the larger version of the palette, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. It's not a bad palette. I like MOTD's formula a lot. It's very buildable, very easy to blend, very beginner friendly. I love this duochrome in the middle specifically so much. It's gorgeous. This is just, compared to everything else I'm going to talk about today, this is just a little bit, I don't want to call it boring because it does have pops of color, but it's just more on the safe side compared to a lot of the other things I'm going to talk about. And I just don't have as much love for this one as I do a lot of my other MOTD palettes. Again, it's not a bad palette. And if you were looking for just like a really good staple kind of half neutrals, half primary colors palette, this would be a good one to go for. Again, I love the formula. It's just, this particular palette doesn't wow me enough to rank it any higher than this. Next up, ranked number 8, I have my first Colourpop palette to chat about. This is the Play It Jewel palette. I did an Instagram video with this probably about a month ago at this point, and I actually loved that look. I did a really pretty two-tone look with this. And I do quite enjoy this palette actually. I'm not very big on large palettes, but if it's special enough, I'm down for it. And this one is more special to me compared to some of Colourpop's other mega palettes, but I do feel like this still could have been condensed a bit more. I do love that there's no pressed glitters in the palette, and I love that there are so many rich jewel tones in here. I just feel like it's a little large for what it could be. It probably could have been condensed down to at least a 20-pan palette, if not smaller, and have the same vibe. But the quality's nice. We have a good mixture of mattes and shimmers in here, and I think that's quite lovely. Overall, this isn't a bad palette. It's just not totally what I need. If this was smaller, I probably would have ranked this a little bit better, but just based on all the other things that I have to talk about today, that's why this one's just kind of down here. I don't dislike this palette. It's just kind of take it or leave it for me. Moving on to number 7, everything going forward, I love a lot. There were only 3 things that I was just kind of meh about. Ranked number 7 is going to be my Game Beauty Harbinger palette. I did do an Instagram video and a 2 looks video with this on my channel, so you can go check those out if you want to see some inspiration. It's such a cute 10-pan palette, same kind of format as their other palettes. I love the artwork on the outside and I love the colors on the inside. This is potentially my favorite color story they've done, either this one or the first palette. Mine is the fact that there's a pressed glitter in the first palette. Love that color story regardless, but this is so cute. I like how dark and spooky it is. I love the colors in here. The Abyss shade right here is such a marbled special shadow. It has such a cool dimensional effect on the eyes. It is breathtaking. They do such a good job with that formula. And this Duochrome Dawn is out of this world as well. It's so sparkly without it being like chunky glitter. I really enjoy this one. I've had a lot of fun with it and I always get so excited when they have a new release. Rounding out the bottom 5 of these 10 palettes, we are on number 6. I'm giving it to my Colourpop of Quartz palette. I love this little palette. I'm not a big neutrals person as a general rule, but I love cool tone neutrals. If I'm gonna play with neutrals, I want it to be cool tones. I just think they're so sultry and beautiful. I love the way they look on me. They make me feel so pretty and glamorous, and I love the layout of this palette. We have 4 shimmers, 4 mattes, and a sequin shadow. I love the range of depth in here. It goes from light taupey gray shades to really deep smoky shades. I did do a first impressions video with this collection, and I also kind of held up the That's Taupe palette and kind of compared them a little bit. So if you want to see that, you can check it out. They are vastly different, though they are both cool tones, but this one leans much more gray. I love the shimmers in here. Those metallics are so pretty. I'm such a sucker for cool tones. I almost ranked this one a little bit higher, but I do love the next 5 just a bit more than this one, but this is a very beautiful, glamorous palette, and I'm very happy to have it in my life. And I really like the quartz theme. I think the crystal theme is really cute. Even though I'm kind of over Colourpop doing monochromatic palettes, I wouldn't be mad if they like expanded the gemstone kind of theme. I think that could be kind of cute, especially because there's lots of really unique gemstones out there that they kind of haven't even really touched with their monochromatic palette, so I feel like that could be fun. But I also don't need an overload of Colourpop collections because they already come out like every 5 days. All right, moving on to my top 5 of these palettes. I love all these so much. These were really hard to rank. Let's get into it. Number 5 is gonna be my Colourpop Nightmare Before Christmas palette. Just the packaging is so cute. The stripes and the characters and the sparkles. It's so pretty. I did do a full first impressions video with this palette on my channel, by the way, and I think I'm also gonna do an Instagram video with this one and the quartz one at some point, so just stay tuned for those. Now, I do wanna start by saying this color story does not scream Nightmare Before Christmas to me at all. They definitely could have done some tweaks. We definitely needed a green in here. There's some things that could have been changed to make this more suitable for the movie, but that aside, I love this color story. We have 5 beautiful shimmers. Some of them are so shifty and dimensional. I love them. Lots of beautiful mattes. I love how poppy and punchy some of these mattes are, and I love, love, love the fact that they didn't include like basic beigey mattes because they do that all the time and I'm sick of it, and this is beautiful. I love how dark and smoky but colorful this gets. I think this is such a killer color story. One of my favorites they've ever come out with, actually. This palette makes me really happy. I almost ranked this as number 4, but the one I'm about to talk about next beat this by just a little bit, but I love this one. This is a really good release from Colourpop. Moving on to number 4. BATTYBEAN Cosmetics sent me their blends palette when the owner saw how much I loved my Surge that I bought myself, and I was so excited to try the other palette from them. It looks like this, and again, I have a couple things to say. I'm not always a giant palette person. The color story has to really be special, which is why I loved the Surge so much, because it was such a good combination of darks and pastels and neons and shimmers. It was such a beautiful color story. And on paper, a giant rainbow palette isn't like what comes to mind when I think of a palette that I need in my life, but when I realized how amazing the formula from BATTYBEAN Cosmetics is, and then she offered to send me this one, I was like, you know what? Maybe I do need the ultimate perfect rainbow palette in my collection, and I can tell you right now, this is it. This is the ultimate rainbow palette. I'm actually debating decluttering my Ace Beauté Slice of Paradise when my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter video comes up, just because I don't think I need it anymore. I'm set. Like, this is the ultimate rainbow palette. I did do a get ready with me with this, and I do plan on doing an Instagram video at some point. It's all mattes. You can do anything in the world, and I love how she perfectly curated these colors. Everything is in 3s, so you have the perfect range of every shade. You have 3 greens, 3 teals, 3 yellows, 3 blues, 3 oranges, purples, reds, pinks, browns, black, white, gray. This is just laid out so well, and the formula is so good. They blend so easily. Like, the hype is real with this brand, and I just had to rank this high. Even though like a rainbow palette isn't what I reach for every day, this is just so good, and it's gonna become such a staple in my collection as far as rainbow palettes go. that I had to rank this one number 4. It's so good. I'm so happy to have it, and I cannot wait to see what else the brand comes out with because I think this brand is going places. Moving on to my top 3, I'm so excited. These are actually all things I treated myself. Everything else before was PR, but these next 3 things were all presents to myself, and I'm happy to report that I loved them all. Very much so. I feel like I pride myself on the things that I buy myself because I usually have a pretty good intuition on what I'm going to enjoy. Let's get into it. Number 3 is my Lunar Beauty Moonspell Volume 2 palette. I did a first impressions, a 2 looks video. I'm pretty sure I also did an Instagram video, so there's lots of looks out for you. It looks like a book. Oh, it's so beautiful, so aesthetically pleasing, and I'm happy to have the companion to the first palette. It looks like this. We have, oh, this one's always so hard to hold on camera because it's so reflective. Such a beautiful mixture of pinks, purples, and reds, and browns, but like yummy browns, not basic browns. We have so many different textures, mattes, shimmers, super dimensional sparkly shimmers that aren't pressed glitters. I've had a lot of fun with this palette. I know some people had some issues with it. I personally did not. There have been people saying like they don't like this one as much as the old formula because the formula is different now. I still like it. If a brand comes out with a new formula and I still like it, it's fine for me. Like I don't necessarily feel the need to compare like, well, this formula is trash, the other one's good. Like I kind of just like both. And I think that's okay to do. So yeah, I've been enjoying this one a lot. I think it's a lot of fun, and I hope he continues making more Moonspell palettes. I will say I wish this one was like 1 row smaller so it was the exact same size as the other palette, but it doesn't make me that mad. If anything, like with regular books, usually as the series goes on, the books get bigger, so it's not that weird. Moving on to number 2, and again, number 1 and 2 are basically tied for first place because it was very hard to pick, but I did rank them, so I guess I do technically like one more than the other, but only because of the color story. I like one color story just slightly more, but I love both of these. Anyways, ranked number 2 is the Beauty Bay Age of Opulence palette. It's what I'm wearing today. I did do a first impressions, a 2 looks video, and this Instagram video. I love this look so much, and I love this palette so much. It is beautiful. We have 20 luxurious shades, so many rich, deep jewel tone vivids. I love the pinky purples, the blues, the teals. This color story is so appealing, and the shimmers are so beautiful, so shifty and metallic and glitzy. Again, I also did hear some people having issues with the dark purples and blues in this palette. Again, I personally did not have issues. I've been loving Beauty Bay. I tried them for the first time a couple months ago with their Wilderness palette, and this is my second palette from them, and depending on the color story, I might start buying these more frequently because I've been very impressed. I think this is so much fun. It's so rich and pretty. And if you missed out on the Book of Magic palette like I did, this is kind of like the grungy older sister to it, and I love it. I think I like this color story a little bit more than the Book of Magic, so yeah, win-win for me. I'm very pleased with this. And finally, ranked number 1, I'm giving it to my Ace Beauté Tropical Vibes palette. This is gorgeous. 15 swampy murky shades, mostly mattes with 3 beautiful shimmers. I did already post a 2 looks video by the time this video goes up, and I also compared it to the MOTD Cosmetics 420 with swatch comparison, so if you want to see that, you can go check that out. And I will be doing an Instagram video as well. I don't know if that'll be up before this video or after. If it's after, it will be coming soon. I just love these grungy, murky tones. That's why I had to put this first place. This is Ace Beauté's newer formula. I personally never had a problem with the old one, but I do like this one a little bit more. It blends nicely, so if you're someone who maybe was skeptical about trying them or tried them in the past and didn't like it, you might like them more now. Again, I never had an issue, but this is also really nice. Shimmers are so just pigmented and metallic. The mattes are just so delicious and they blow out so grungy. I love the colors in here. I love the mixtures of chartreuses and greens and dingy browny orangey tones, and then the weird blues and the purpley dark color down here. It's all good things. This is so stunning and I am obsessed with this. I'm having so much fun. So yeah, that was ranking my most recent 10 palettes. I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you tried any of these? Do you want any of these? Did any of my ranking surprise you? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me your last 10 most recently used emojis. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me on my other socials. You can join the BATTYBEAN fam. I am BATTYBEAN on everything. I post every day on Instagram and I'm pretty active on TikTok and Twitter as well. And if you want, you can subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I post most days over here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.